Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 4 of What If Naruto was the descendant of Shao Kahn. If you guys enjoy this what if, and want to see part 5 of it, comment down below, and let me know. And go ahead, and check out other what ifs in the channel. And check the description, for the creator of this fanfic, and support them for making this fanfic. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. Naruto watched with amusement how Orochimaru's former bodyguard shrunk back in fear of him when he entered the interrogation room. Every single Leaf Shinobi now knew his position in their ranks was much higher than theirs was, thanks to Godmother making it known how she felt about her grandfather's village, getting 10 pounds of flesh from the boy when they should have been kissing his ass. Even now, Tsunade was cleaning house one block at a time, and Naruto was enjoying every second of it. He had already moved into the Namikaze estates with Anko and Shizune right beside him once informing them of this news. Anko had jumped him the moment he set foot into her apartment to tell her the news, and they nearly had sex with Shizune watching them. Before the crazy special Jonin saw the woman, while wrapping her legs around his waist. After asking Naruto what Shizune was doing in her apartment, the former Jinchuriki grinned, and explained what happened with him making a bet with Tsunade. Anko was speechless at first, over Naruto not only being the owner of the first Hokage's necklace, but got Tsunade's assistant too. At first, Naruto thought she would be upset by this addition, but to his slight surprise, Anko let out a squeal of joy at having a harem sister, and had a perverted look on her face that made Shizune very nervous. Poor Shizune. As for Naruto right now, his eyes were glowing red behind his war helmet of a mask, as he watched the 4 shinobi in front of him thinking of what to do or say in his presence. From the look in their eyes, they were very terrified, and some were even angry with him at the same time. Amusing to say the least in Naruto's mind. Part of them wished to break free of their chakra-suppressing chains to fight and avenge their dead master. He could sense several in the group just wanted to escape not just himself, but Konoha altogether, and find some measure of protection against the village that would no doubt seek to behead for their affiliation with Orochimaru alone. How amusing it is to see such defiant, yet terrified faces from each of you, said Naruto, before letting out an amused chuckle. What is it you want? Why are we here together as a group? Said Kidomaru, while seeing the person responsible for Orochimaru's death look like he just gained their very souls. Because I don't want to talk to each of you one at a time. I want to talk you as a group, said Naruto, while crossing his arms in front of himself. About what exactly, said Jirobo, curiously. About the 4 of you joining me, said Naruto, with the group looking at him while like he was crazy. Are you fucking crazy? Exclaimed Teiwaya, while Naruto just let out an amused chuckle at her outburst. Perhaps. Still, it is an offer to consider. I would think you would all jump at the chance. It's either join me, or be imprisoned if not executed. I find either such punishment to be a waste of talent and potential you each possess. Orochimaru saw potential, which is why he chose each of you to be his bodyguards, and that is not something to ignore lightly, explained Naruto. And how do you know that? Questioned Shao Kahn while Naruto smirked at him. Because I have all his memories. I have all his knowledge and everything he's done. The benefit I gained from ripping out his soul before putting it into my body. While I can't use a good portion of that knowledge on account it was meant for the Sannin alone, I can still use the memories the man has of the promising recruits in each of the many bases I know he possesses in Rice Country, said Naruto, with the group looking shocked by this news. So, we're trading off from one master to another, said Ukon, while popping out of his brother's back. Would you prefer imprisonment or death? A waste of your potential and talent. I have plans for this world. If you only knew what I do. Seen what I have seen, you would not hesitate to join me in my conquest, said Naruto, his power radiating out of him. What the fuck are you talking about? Conquest? What the fuck do you mean by that? Are you actually saying you are going to launch some kind of campaign to take over the world? Questioned Teiwaya with Naruto glaring at her, for basically making it sound like his ambition was a fool's errand. That's exactly what I'm suggesting. Do you have a problem with that? Said Naruto, with coldness in his voice, that told the red-haired girl her answer to his question, maybe the very last she ever gave ever again. No, squeaked Teiwaya, while Naruto narrowed his eyes at her. Because what I'm offering you is the chance to be employed into my service. Not the leaf, said Naruto, with the group still looking hesitant. But, don't you answer to Konoha? Said Jirobo, scratching his head. Hardly. I may wear the headband of the leaf, but I'm not loyal to the governing body running things, and they don't exactly hold me in high regard either for what I once held, explained Naruto with the group in front of him looking at one another. But, how can you be so sure they won't try to stop you? Said Ukon with Naruto just smirking at him. Because they don't have the strength to stop me, said Naruto, simply. What do you guys say? Should we join him? Or do we rot in prison with the high risk of being executed? Said Kidomaru, with each member of the Sound Four going into their own little huddle. He did kill Orochimaru, said Jirobo, knowing few could do that. Konoha hates us. They'll make us rot in prison just for the invasion alone, and kill us for being Orochimaru's bodyguards, said Shao Kahn, with Ukon nodding in agreement. You're not suggesting we trust this asshole? Whispered Teiwaya with the others looking thoughtful. We don't have much of choice, Teiwaya. I say we at least give him a chance. The power he's wielding makes Orochimaru look like a joke. He tore through every shinobi in his path during the Chunin exams like they were nothing, said Kidomaru with the others nodding in agreement. All in favor? Said Shao Kahn, so they could put it to a vote. Aye, said the sound for it once. All oppose? Said Ukon with everyone giving him a "Are you serious?" look. We all said yes, you stupid fucktard, yelled Teiwaya, while strangling the life out of Ukon. Enough, said Naruto, before stomping his foot to shake the ground around the floor in front of him. Sorry, said Ukon and Teiwaya at the same time. Good. I've made arrangements with someone I can trust to make sure you get out of here while serving me. Screw this opportunity up, and you will be wishing she kicked your ass instead of me, said Naruto, before freeing them from the restraints. Wait, you said she? Who exactly, said Jirobo, wondering who in Konoha could have the power to let this happen. My godmother and the new 5th Hokage of Konoha. You may know her, since she was Orochimaru's former teammate in Fellow in Senjutsu Tsunade, said Naruto, walking out with the group just following with shocked looks on their faces. This guy got the Hokage in his pocket. Holy shit, thought Teiwaya, while seeing Naruto leading them out of their interrogation section of the Hokage Tower. Meanwhile, Naruto himself was smirking, though none of his new subordinates could see it for obvious reasons, and the fact the councils were fuming over the fact Tsunade came back to be Hokage. Barely in office for 5 measly minutes, and already they sent one of their little messengers to inform Tsunade of their demand for a meeting. Naruto was in her office at the time, and gave his godmother "I told you so" look before following her to the meeting. And naturally, he was subjected to their glares with hateful words about him even being in the room, much less alive. Flashback, 1 week ago. What is the meaning of this? I'm Hokage for barely a few minutes, and already you bakas are trying to boss me around, said Tsunade, coming into the room, and looked peeved at the group in front of her, before sitting down in the Hokage's chair. We felt it was imperative for you to have this meeting with us, to discuss the thing that has joined you for this meeting, said Koharu, while glaring daggers at Naruto. He has a name, Koharu-san, and it's Naruto. If you don't call him by that name, I will rip out your bones one by one in a public execution. And that goes for the rest of you. Do I make myself clear? Exclaimed Tsunade, while glaring at the older woman flinching from the threat. Yes, Hokage-sama, said the other members of the councils, though they did so with a certain reluctance. But now why am I here for this meeting? What is there to discuss that couldn't wait until I had time to settle into my position as Hokage? Said Tsunade, with the councils glancing at Naruto, and she understood what they were referring to about him. We wish there to be restrictions placed on the demon, Uzumaki Naruto. He has to be punished for his assault on various Konoha shinobi, and the 3rd Hokage himself. If how Hiruzen was your sensei, I thought you would wish to give the order, and make it official with us being witnesses, said Hamura, while Tsunade narrowed her eyes at him, before glancing at the other members of the councils, all eagerly waiting for their new puppy for Hokage to give the order. The order to restrict Uzumaki Naruto's movements, and punishing him for the charges stated are hereby denied, said Tsunade, which made many on the councils to look surprised by this, and voiced it too. Tsunade, be reasonable. Look at what that monstrosity has done. He must be punished, exclaimed Koharu, while ignoring Naruto chuckling at them for their random pleas for Tsunade to reconsider. He is a threat to Konoha. He nearly killed the 3rd Hokage. In fact, Hiruzen would have died, had Jiraiya-sama not interfered at the last moment, and stopped the final blow to Hiruzen. Hamura furiously stated, while pointing at Naruto. So, you claim Hamura-san, but I happen to know the other side of this little story that you are telling, and the secret you are not telling me, said Tsunade, with the Shinobi Council squirming a bit, since they were indeed keeping a secret from her. And what secret is that, said someone on the Civilian Council. That Naruto is my godson. That I was lied to by the 3rd Hokage in believing he died. That I was supposed to stay in Konoha, and raise him like he was my own son. Of the abuse he suffered with the 3rd Hokage keeping Jiraiya in the dark, to prevent one of his godparents from doing something about it, said Tsunade, while seeing how those that knew were squirming in their seats under her piercing gaze. It was considered necessary for the good of Konoha, said Danzo, at last with Tsunade's eyes redirecting themselves to him. It was treason. His parents specifically requested this in the event of their deaths. Or do the wishes of late 4th Hokage mean nothing to any of you, said Tsunade, with each of the clan heads looking down in shame, since they had been, well, spineless when it came to defending the boy, as he grew up. We refuse to accept this abomination, as that great man's father. I don't care what you say on the matter. As long as I am breathing in and out right here before you from today on out, I will never acknowledge the brat as his father's son. Never. Said a civilian councilman, slamming his fist on the table with many of his fellow council members in full agreement. until Naruto grabbed his face with one of his hands and lifted the poor bastard out of his chair. "Then I think it's time you stopped breathing in and out," said Naruto, before snapping the man's neck with ease and tossing the corpse away like it was nothing. "The Anbu arrests him for the murder of Councilman Takeda," said Homura, while Danzo held back the smirk, knowing once the boy was restrained, he would begin to work the conditioning needed to turn the village's weapon into his loyal pawn. "Stand down. No one is arresting Naruto." "Not while I am Hokage," said Tsunade, seeing her Anbu obeying her, though she could tell it was with reluctance. "Tsunade," cried out Homura in protest, but her glare shut up anything else he wanted to say, and knew any further complaints would be ignored. "No. All of you shut up and listen to me. I am the 5th Hokage. My word is law. I say any attempt to abuse, hurt, or kill Naruto will no longer be tolerated. I call it, though if you try then you will die." "Law," said Tsunade, with Naruto grinning further, and every member on the councils were protesting until the Hokage slamming her fist onto the table to make it known she was the one in charge. "Hokage-sama, is it possible to request medical assistance for my daughter? She has yet to fully recover from her injury suffered roughly a month ago during the Chunin exam preliminaries," explained Hiashi, while Tsunade nodded. "I will do that later today." "Who else needs to be healed?" asked Tsunade, since she needed to heal quite a few people after Orochimaru's failed invasion attempt. "The last Uchiha. He was ruthlessly maimed by him during the Chunin exams," said Kaharu, while pointing at Naruto in an accusing manner. "He was late to his own match and was disqualified. The Uchiha dared to challenge me and interrupt my fight with Gar," explained Naruto with the councils all glaring at him. "He still had no right to hurt him," said a civilian councilman angrily. "Like he tried and failed to do with me?" questioned Naruto, with the civilian councilman remaining silent. "I don't have time to deal with all this arrogant bullshit. This meeting is now over. Get the hell out," said Tsunade, with the councils looking displeased at having their meeting ended by her. "I told you so," said Naruto, with Tsunade glaring at him now. "So, what do you intend to do now?" questioned Tsunade, with Naruto grinning at her. "I need recruits for my plans for the world. I need my own army. And I know where to start looking," said Naruto, before leaving the new Hokage to her own devices. Then flashback. "So where to now, boss?" said Shao Kahn, now that they were free and given new headbands with the leaf symbol on them, just to keep the village off their backs. "To Rice Country, of course. Kabuto escaped during the failed invasion, and he will try to take control of things in Orochimaru's absence." "I will not allow that," said Naruto, with his group heading out for their intended destination. On a nearby rooftop, Naruto Anbu was watching them leave, and then left to report this news to Danzo. At HQ. "So, the brat left with the sound for Rice Country," said Danzo, while rubbing his chin in thought. "Yes, Danzo-sama. He is apparently heading there to not only recruit an army, but to kill Kabuto as well, and take complete control of the village," said the root shinobi assigned to watch Naruto. "Not good. Orochimaru's former bodyguards know I was involved with the Snake Sanin for years after he abandoned Konoha. If they tell the brat about my actions, or gets any potential shinobi to his cause, will only make it that more difficult for me to control him. How do I turn this to my advantage?" thought Danzo while trying to figure out the best way to bring the boy under his thumb. "Hamura-san and Kaharu-san are also wishing to speak with you," said the root shinobi, with Danzo narrowing his eyes further. "Send them both in," said Danzo, with the root shinobi bowing, and soon letting the two shinobi council members into the room before leaving. "The Kyuubi brat is becoming uncontrollable. We need a plan," said Hamura, knowing that if anyone could come up with one, it would be Danzo, and help secure the brat to be the village's prize weapon. "Agreed. Unfortunately, my Sharingan has no effect on him like I hoped it would, and proves he cannot be controlled directly," said Danzo, with bitterness in his voice. "He is of Uzumaki blood. The Sharingan will not work against one of their own or the Senju, since they are all through the Sage of Six Paths," said Kaharu, while Danzo scowled further. "No. It's not just that. I can't suppress his power with it either. Since he apparently fused with Kyuubi, I should be able to keep it from rising, but my Sharingan has had no effect on it, and I'm finding such new information to be bothersome," said Danzo, with the two shinobi council members looking shocked by this news. "It must be the boy's own chakra source mixing with Kyuubi's during the fusing process he underwent during the month away from Konoha. It must have created some kind of barrier or resistance for Kyuubi's power against the Sharingan," said Kaharu, with Danzo and Hamura looking upset by this. "We'll need to use politics as our weapon. We need to bring Tsunade under control on our end. If that fails, Danzo, we need you to work on building us a case to use against Naruto, and bring before the Fire Daimyo, to make him make Tsunade bow to our whims," said Hamura, but Danzo nodding, knowing his root shinobi could do that. "I've already begun preparing a case to send straight to the Fire Daimyo. Once he sees the evidence we collected against the brat, and Tsunade's lack of action against him for her own personal reasons, he will have no choice but to make that bitch do what we want," said Danzo, as he saw the two nod and leave to prepare to control Tsunade, so they could control Naruto. Ice Country, Sound Village. This is the main base, where Orochimaru keeps his most prized experiments, and potential hosts he needed every 3 years, said Jirobo, with Naruto nodding, having long since gone through the late Sannin's own memories. There was a lot of dirt the Sannin had on key people in Konoha, and would use against them if they tried anything. Yes, I know. Several in particular shinobi intrigue me, said Naruto, as he headed into the village below, and into the secret underground chamber in one of the buildings. The group walked down the corridors, ignoring the weak or dead bodies in the cells they went by, until they made it to the lab area. They saw Kabuto looking over some monitors, looking over notes, and completely in his work. On a table not far from the medic nin was an albino, who was being monitored, and looked like he had been crying earlier. From what Naruto recalled from Orochimaru's memories, this one was called Kimimaro, and was the last of the Kaguya clan formerly of Mist and Water Country. The man also had lung cancer, and thus his honored opportunity to be Orochimaru's new body had been taken from him. You, said a shocked Kabuto, as he turned to face Naruto and Orochimaru's former bodyguards. Hello, Kabuto. How are you? Said Naruto, while grinning at the mad scientist one up in front of him. You have a lot of nerve coming here, Uzumaki. Considering you were outnumbered, said Kabuto, with a smirk on his face. Hardly. Kimimaro is barely a threat to me in his current condition, said Naruto, with Kabuto frowning at his knowledge of Kimimaru's name. I was talking about the four behind you helping me, said Kabuto, with a smirk once more appearing on his face. And they would side with you over me because, said Naruto in a questioning manner, while seeing the medic nin chuckle at him. Come now. You don't really expect them to obey your commands. A weak loud-mouthed brat who pretends to be a ninja and wishes to be Hokage. Pathetic, said Kabuto, while Naruto just looked at him for a moment before laughing. Do I look like that now, you fool? I've come a long way since being forced to portray myself in that manner. Not to mention Orochimaru's death at my hands put the notion of being weak into question, doesn't it? Said Naruto, seeing Kabuto narrow his eyes at him, while Kimimaro tried to get up from the table. You killed Orochimaru-sama. That is why my curse seal is gone. I'll kill you, exclaimed Kimimaro, while trying to get up from the table. That would be a big mistake on your part, considering I took Orochimaru's soul into my body along with all his secrets, said Naruto, seeing Kimimaro and Kabuto looking at him with a mix of shock and fear. You took his soul, said Kimimaro, seeing Naruto nod. Ripped it right out and into my body. All of his knowledge, his secrets, and memories are mine, said Naruto, while letting his power radiate around him in swirl of red, while letting out a cruel chuckle the snake Sannin couldn't perform even on a good day. So, it doesn't matter. You could absorb the souls of every Kage in the history of the elemental countries, and you would still be nothing compared to me, said Kabuto, while Naruto shook his head. You're so full of yourself, Kabuto, that it's pathetic, said Naruto, before summoning his wrath hammer to his hand. We'll see who's pathetic when I cut you open and dissect your body, said Kabuto, as he had his hands coated in chakra, and ready to use chakra scalpel to cut through his enemy. Fight, yelled Naruto, as he hit Kabuto with shadow charge, and sent the shocked medic nin flying back into his work he had been studying moments ago. You'll pay for that, cried out Kabuto, as he was covered in chemicals, and other things with his notes being ruined in the process. Unlikely. I wouldn't expect some second-rate nutcase to understand what I've become, since you last saw me during the Chunin exam preliminaries, taunted Naruto, with Kabuto snarling at him. Second-rate? I'm the greatest medic nin in all the elemental countries, exclaimed now angry Kabuto, with Naruto shaking his head in disagreement. My godmother would disagree with you, Naruto shot back with Kabuto scoffing at him. That dried-up old bitch. She's wasted over a decade getting drunk, gambling her money away, and wallowing in self-pity over those she lost with a fear for blood. How can she be a medic nin of such supposed high caliber if she fears blood of all things? In my mind, Senjutsu Tsunade is nothing more than a fake. A fraud, snapped Kabuto, with the enemy in front of him no longer looking amused and in fact looked deadly serious. Without warning, Naruto struck Kabuto in the face with his wrath hammer, after moving in a burst of speed the former right-hand man of Orochimaru hadn't anticipated. The force behind the blow sent Kabuto flying through the wall. His ability to heal was already in the process of healing the crushed part of his face, and had to admit to himself that it hurt a lot. The next thing Kabuto knew, Naruto was upon him, landing blows, left and right, as each hit broke bones, and caused internal bleeding. Before he could focus on how Naruto did that, Kabuto found both his hands stabbed by spears made up of red chakra, and saw his enemy summon Kusanagi to his hands with the dragon symbol now etched into the blade just above the hilt. For your insult against my godmother, I will see to it your death is slow, painful, and the screams echo throughout the entire village, said Naruto, before thrusting the blade into Kabuto's chest, and sure enough the man did scream loudly. The poison from the sword was working on him internally, and the power from Naruto was being channeled into the sword to burn Kabuto's flesh, if not the internal organs from the inside out. All Kabuto could do was scream in pain, as his body was fighting a losing battle and healing itself, while Naruto's killing blow was destroying him. Nothing he had in his arsenal of jutsus that Orochimaru had him learn were helping in this matter, and could not escape his slowly agonizing death from happening. Remind me not to piss Naruto off anytime soon, whispered Kidomaru the others, as he like the rest of his group, saw Kabuto become an unrecognizable corpse on the ground, and Naruto removing Kusanagi from the remains. Fatality, said Naruto, before sending the sword away, and turned to face the shocked Kaguya seeing the power before him. Such power. It is beyond that of Orochimaru, said Kimimaro, in disbelief while seeing Naruto's power recede back into him. As is your illness and being treated by normal medical means, said Naruto, as he walked over to the weakened Kaguya, and saw him look down in shame. My illness prevented me from being Orochimaru's news host. It has been a bane on my clan since it's found, and strikes those amongst it who are the strongest, said Kimimaro, with a look in his eyes that showed he cursed the god responsible for creating such a disease. Really? That's a real shame. Your bloodline reminds me of the Tarkatan warriors I've seen in Outworld. They have similar, yet different abilities in the ways of using their bones as weapons, and I am curious to know how that is possible. Said Naruto, seeing Kimimaro was shocked to hear such information. It has long been spoken as a legend among my clansmen that our bloodline came from a demon with such abilities, who gave into his lust, and mated with a human female. Over the years, the bloodline slowly changed into what it is now, but back then, it was said the Kaguya clan looked less human than we did before our destruction, and I am no most human-looking Kaguya of them all, said Kimimaro, before feeling Naruto's hand on his chest where Orochimaru's curse seal had once been. Yes, that does make sense. Still, we can't have such a promising warrior like yourself be wasted here on this table like some lab experiment, and die in this manner with this disease. It is unbefitting of a warrior, said Naruto, with his hand on the albino's chest now glowing red, and spreading around the man's upper torso. What are you doing? Questioned Kimimaro, with a hint of fear in his voice, while his body began to feel internal pain. I'm curing you of your disease, Kaguya Kimimaro. Brace yourself for this will hurt, a lot. Naruto stated simply, as he channeled his power into his hand through Kimimaru's body, chanting words in a language no one in the room but himself understood, and he began purging the disease in the Kaguya. Kimimaru screamed, as he felt his body practically melting from the inside, and then being reformed at the same time. Yes, Kimimaru would scream a lot. I am so not going to him, if I have a cold, thought Jirobo, as he saw Kimimaru was now engulfed in red light, and blinding the group behind Naruto. It is finished. Rise, Kaguya Kimimaru. Breathe clearly now for the first time in a long time, said Naruto, seeing the albino sit up, and get off the table despite nearly falling to his knees once his feet hit the ground. I can breathe. My disease is gone, said Kimimaru, as he could breathe easily without coughing, and felt no blood in his lungs. Yes. I cured you. A bit crude, but it gets the job done, Naruto stated simply, while he watched Kimimaru look at the new mark on his chest, that was the symbol of the dragon tattooed there. Your mark? Said Kimimaru, seeing Naruto shrug. More or less, said Naruto, knowing the dragon symbol had long been associated with Mortal Kombat, but the future emperor could see it as his own, and was giving him ideas for the future. I shall wear it with pride, while in your service, Naruto-sama, said Kimimaru, before he kneeled at Naruto's feet. Rise, Kimimaru. You shall join the others in my growing army, as one of my generals. I expect many great things from you. I do not tolerate failure lightly, said Naruto, seeing the Kaguya in front of him nod in understanding. I understand, Naruto-sama. Kimimaru stated with the utmost understanding in his voice. Good. Follow me. All of you. We have more potential recruits to free from their prisons. The snake locked away, said Naruto, before heading down the hall to another room where a large cork bottle held what looked like ordinary water in it. Picking up the container, Naruto looked at it for a second, before grinning knowing what was in this, and smashed the container on the ground. Waiting a few moments, the water began to form into a human body, revealing a light blue-haired man with shark-like teeth like Sabusa, or Kasame, depending on who you think of first. This new person looked around to see the sound for Kimimaru, and the most muscled he had ever fucking seen standing barely a foot from him. What the hell? Who are you? Questioned the man with Naruto grinning at him. Your new boss, said Naruto, simply with the new guy looking stunned at hearing this news. What? Where's Orochimaru? And why do you four have leaf headbands? Said the man curiously. He's dead, Sugetsu, stated Naruto, with the man now known as Sugetsu looking like the world just tilted off its angle. How the fuck do you know my name? Questioned Sugetsu, with the sound four now sucking in their breaths, and Kimimaru was looking to stab him for some reason. Show Naruto-sama respect, you fool, or I'll rip out your guts. Kimimaru stated angrily, while Naruto held up a hand to stop the impending fight. It's alright, Kimimaru. He's curious about how I know his name, when none of you gave it to me, said Naruto, like it was the simplest answer in the world. You could say that, said Sugetsu carefully, while wondering what made Kimimaru of all people turn from being a loyal fanatic of Orochimaru to this kid in front of him. I know your name, because Orochimaru knew your name. I killed Orochimaru by taking his soul into my body and digesting it, as if I was the Shinigami himself. All his memories of what he's done, his knowledge, and skills that I can use, are all in my head. I know all I need to know about you, Sugetsu, said Naruto calmly, while Sugetsu felt a little freaked out at hearing the way the Sannin kicked the bucket. Okay. You freed me. Now what, said Sugetsu, wondering what was going to happen now. Now you join me in my plans for this world, said Naruto, in a matter-of-fact tone. And why the hell would I join you? One crazy lunatic with delusions of grandeur for another is not my kind of thing. I have my own ambitions in life, and I'm not wasting it following some warlord wannabe, just because he freed me from that glass prison, said Sugetsu, with Naruto in front of him narrowing his eyes, before grabbing the shocked man by the throat, and lifting him up off the ground. I suggest you choose your words more carefully, Sugetsu-san, for they could be your last. I know all about your ambition in wanting to possess the swords belonging to the 7 swordsmen of the mist. I have no intention of denying you that ambition. What I intend to do is conquer lands, and fight all those that oppose me. I need generals, who will lead my armies throughout the world, and united under my banner. Under my rule. I know all about your desire to spill blood, and my war will give you plenty of it. Naruto explained, before dropping Sugetsu on the ground. You're not messing with me. You're not pulling my leg, said Sugetsu, seeing Naruto looking at him with smoldering eyes. Hardly. Now get off the ground, Sugetsu. I have 2 more potentials to recruit from this place, said Naruto, before turning around and leaving the room with his slowly growing army following him. The group soon went to another cell with seal tags on it, to keep whoever was in this room locked up tight with no hope of escape, unless someone from the outside opened it. With a swing of his just summoned wrath hammer, Naruto destroyed the cell door, and walked in like he owned the place. Inside the room was a tall man with orange hair sitting on the ground, and looking up at his newest guest. Who are you? Said the orange-haired man. Your new master. I know of your fear. Fear for your power. Serve me loyally, and I will ensure it is controlled, said Naruto, with the man shaking his head. No one control it. I can't even control it. What could you possibly have that makes what I possess controllable? Questioned the man with Naruto grinning at him. Kimimaro for one. I know he can help you keep your condition in check. I can also give you access to the best medical mind in the world. If she can't fix or stabilize you, then nothing will, answered Naruto, with the tall man now getting off the ground and looking at Kimimaro, who gave a nod, that what was being told was the truth. My name is Jugo. I am yours to command, my master, said Jugo before he bowed in front of Naruto. Welcome to your future emperor's army, said Naruto, before putting a hand on the man's shoulder, and made a hand motion for the group to follow him once more. This time they went to another lab area instead of a cell, though it looked like there were seals on it, to keep whoever was in the lab from escaping. Once again, Naruto smashed down the door, which made the person in the lab, a young girl with red hair and glasses, shriek in fear at the sudden intrusion into her prison. This girl was apparently taken some time recently within the past month, as she wore attire worn by Grass Shinobi, and even had the headband on, though it looked like it had gone a few rounds with Goro in Mortal Kombat. Who are you? Asked the frightened redhead, as she saw this person she had never seen before entering the room, and practically tower over her frightened form. Someone who is in need of your sensory-based talents, and your recent interest in the medical arts, answered Naruto, with the bespectacled girl still shaking in fear of him. Forced interests, said the red-headed girl. Still, it is an interest you have excelled at since being here in such a short time, and I can make such a skill reach its full potential, with the teacher I have in mind for you to learn from, stated Naruto, with the girl looking at him with more curiosity than fear. You? Questioned the girl. Senju Tsunade. My godmother, answered Naruto, with the girl's eye bugging out to the point where she almost lost her glasses. What? Senju Tsunade is your godmother? Asked the girl, with the idea of Tsunade being the godmother to this guy being unbelievable. He was huge. Muscled with muscles in ways she couldn't begin to understand. What was the Senju woman feeding him? Did she even want to know? And the power. It was all over the place from what she could sense, and seemed to be from a never-ending well full of it. Yeah. She's also the new Hokage of Konoha, so I have a lot of pull. If there is one thing my godmother knows, it's seeing who has talent in her field, and judging from all of the memories of Orochimaru, you have it. Stated Naruto, with girl looking shocked by how he had Orochimaru's memories. Are you Orochimaru? Questioned the girl, with Naruto laughing at her. Hardly. I am no more Orochimaru than Teiwaya, answered Naruto, with the Teiwaya's face turning red with anger, and the others were snickering. Shut the fuck up before I kick and punch you all in the balls, yelled Teiwaya, while shaking her fists at them, with her team looking away while they whistled nonchalantly. And how exactly? Questioned the girl, though it was clear he wasn't going to explain things to her just yet. They can tell you if they wish. It's not important. What is important to me is knowing if you wish to join side. I'll need highly skilled medic nins when I launch my campaign to conquer the elemental countries, and with your sensory skills will be a key addition to my forces, young Karin-chan, explained Naruto, with the girl now named Karin looking at him in surprise at being called her name when she didn't give it. Are you serious? You're going to conquer all of the elemental countries? It's just not possible. You have the shinobi villages and the daimyos of each country opposing you, said Karin, with Naruto letting out a chuckle of amusement. I know. Which is why I'm gathering my forces now, while no one suspects my actions, or can prepare to stand against me, said Naruto, with Karin looking skeptical. Even if you succeed at first, the opposition will eventually rally together to oppose you, explained Karin, with Naruto just finding her words amusing. You underestimate me, Naruto simply stated while Karin looked more confused than ever. You don't actually think you can succeed in such a massive campaign against the world, do you? Questioned Karin, while Naruto grinned further and leaned down, so he could look her dead in the eyes. I have the blood of an Uzumaki in my veins. I have the blood of an emperor, and that of a conqueror in my veins. I will succeed in my plans and kill anyone that stands in my way, answered Naruto, seeing Karin's eyes widen in fear of him at first, before she came to the realization that he was giving her the chance to be by his side, instead of his path, when the time came to begin his conquest. So, where do I sign up? Asked Karin nervously, while letting out a nervous laugh at being so close to Naruto, and his power overloading her senses by this point. Smart call, said Naruto, as he motioned her to follow him, and the group left with him to gather all the sound shinobi through the entire village. What's going on? Asked one sound shinobi of Jonin rank. Hear me, shinobi of Sound Village. I am Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the son of the late 4th Hokage of Konoha. I come here before you today, to declare myself your new leader. If you have not already heard the rumors of how Orochimaru died or who killed him, then let me fill you in right now of all the facts. It was I who killed Orochimaru of the Sannin, and the rumor regarding his very soul being ripped out from his body is in fact true. I have come to Sound not only to become the village leader, but also take control of Rice country itself, and begin a campaign to bring about a new age for the elemental countries, exclaimed Naruto, with many of the shinobi around him looking shocked, filled with awe, anger, and skepticism, after hearing everything he just said. Just because you killed Orochimaru doesn't give you the right to replace him. You are just a kid, called out one sound Chunin, with some agreeing with him. I see some of you don't believe me. I understand. So, to show I am indeed merciful, each of those wishing to fight me for the right to rule over Sound may step forward, and may challenge that right, said Naruto, with some of the sound shinobi leaping from the large crowd, and planned to take him out there on the spot. The group behind Naruto, who were wondering if they should still be the Sound 4, or some other title, watched with waiting breath to see their leader's foes try to land a hit on him. However, Naruto was too fast, too strong, and too damn ruthless to stop when he crushed each of them, some literally, beneath his feet. When it was over, the shinobi witnessing his brutality in battle now knew why Orochimaru lost to the son of the 4th Hokage, and did not question the young man's right to lead them. I have a question, Naruto-sama, said Kimimaro, seeing Naruto turn around to face him. Yes? What is it, Kimimaro? Asked Naruto, with the albino looking hesitant for a second. It's clear you are part of Konoha at the moment. You cannot be in two places at once to command us. How do you intend to do that without Konoha being none the wiser? Said Kimimaro, knowing the Leaf would never allow one of its own shinobi to lead another village, regardless if it was major or minor in status. Simple. I am going to appoint you to lead them in my place, Kimimaro. You will be the temporary leader of Sound, while awaiting orders from myself with my seal, said Naruto, with Kimimaro looking speechless at hearing this news. I am honored, Naruto-sama, exclaimed Kimimaro humbly, before kneeling in front of Naruto. I leave things here in Rice country in your very capable hands, while I return to Konoha to strengthen my own power base there. While most of the people hate me, I am fortunate they are either weak civilians, or arrogant shinobi thinking I am weaker than themselves. Once I show my generation the horror that Konoha brought down upon me for what I held, they will question the older generation, and I can use that to bring them around to my side when the time is right, said Naruto. Knowing each shinobi village had quality shinobi either in their prime or growing up into being highly skilled shinobi. That's what he wanted. They would be his key subordinates, who commanded the usual grunts of his followers, and help in his plans to rule the world under his banner. He would become emperor, unite the factions together, and bring about long-lasting peace. It could be done, and Naruto just needed to set things in motion, so they could be done. Sound Village and Rice Country would be the key stepping stone to the future he had envisioned for the world. Konoha Hospital. 1 week later. The Sarutobi Hiruzen sat in his hospital bed, his body feeling its age, and wondered how things went so wrong in such a short time. All the years of planning, plotting, and the preparations for the day, where he would have Naruto's utmost obedience to the village despite their hatred for him. It had been subtle manipulations, worthy of his title as the Kami of Shinobi, and a testament to his mind, being as sharp as ever. A how to guide on controlling Jinchuriki that would be handed down from one Hokage to the next, when Naruto could no longer be a Jinchuriki, and would donate Kyuubi to his child, or one of his children if he had more than one. Now it was ruined by whatever forces outside of Konoha had conspired to usurp his plans for the village's future, and curse whatever had a hand in such a thing. What was worse was the fact Orochimaru had failed to kill him in their fight like he wanted from the start, thanks to Jiraiya's informing him of it during the month prior to the Chunin exam finals. All the third Hokage had to do was fight Orochimaru, cripple his former student, and die in the process to forever cement himself as a hero of Konoha. A great man, who could do no wrong, and loved no matter what past sins he did come to light. He would be absolved knowing that when it came down to it, their beloved third Hokage died for Konoha, and squared away any debt owed to the damn Kyuubi Jinchuriki. It was perfect. Until that damn boy screwed it up. Now all of Hiruzen's past actions regarding Naruto were coming to light, his students were not happy with him, and the younger generation were questioning things about how the village was run. Impudent children. All of them had a lot of nerve to question his actions knowing they were for the greater good. Impudent children. My students dare question me over my actions with Naruto. They are too sentimental. If they truly understood, they would support my decision, and stop Naruto from becoming too powerful to control. Thought Hiruzen, as he could only brood over what had happened, and wondered how he could rectify this situation, despite not being Hokage anymore. Look at you. Even now the cogs in your mind turn to figure out how to save yourself from being figuratively dragged through the mud like you so rightfully deserve, said Naruto, as he came into the room, and saw the former Hokage glaring at him. Foolish child. You will never understand what it takes to be Hokage. To make the hard choices in life. To make sacrifices that hurt those you care about, snapped Hiruzen, with Naruto scowling at him. What is there to understand? You sacrificed me to the mob. You bowed to the whims of one pathetic elder god, because he feared me because of my heritage and the prophecy that would throw Earthrealm off its tilt. You sacrificed me without even considering that the action itself was wrong. That you were wrong in going along with it. You won't admit it even now, shot back Naruto with Hiruzen looking away from him. I regret nothing. I did what I had to do, Hiruzen said with Naruto scowling further. And if the elder god asked you to sacrifice your grandson, would you, said Naruto, seeing Hiruzen look back at him dead in the eyes. If it's for the good of Konoha. For the world. Yes, said Hiruzen with Naruto letting out a chuckle. Now I see where Orochimaru gets his cruelty from. It's true what they say about evil. It's not born, it's taught, said Naruto, before he suddenly grabbed the man's face, and the old former Kage was trying to get free from the iron grip. Hiruzen called out while looking Naruto right in the eyes. Yes, Hiruzen. Pray to the elder god Raiden to save you. Pray to that toothless worm. You can do nothing. Your remembrance will be stained with lies and betrayal from your own making. A hypocrite to be remembered for all time long after the world you know comes to an end. Stated Naruto, before looking to his right, and the Hiruzen followed his line of sight, to see the one person the old Kage didn't expect to see. His grandson. Hiruzen called out in the hopes that the boy would run to call for help. But all the boy did was glare at him. He heard everything, old man. Your grandson came to me, asking questions about what I was. Why I tried to kill you during the failed invasion. Why I was suddenly hating the very village I was supposed to defend. When I told him my reasons, he thought I had gone crazy, and didn't believe his sweet old grandfather had a hand in things. So, I convinced him to hear all the proof he'd ever need come from your own mouth. What would you do, if it came down to making a choice between him and the village? I knew the choice you would make, but Konohamaru didn't, and wouldn't believe it unless you said it yourself for him to hear, Naruto stated with a sense of victory in his voice, while the old former Hokage looked at his grandson's betrayed-filled look that was on the young boy's face. No, Konohamaru, don't listen to him. He's bitter for what the village has done to him over the years, called out Hiruzen at last from beyond Naruto's grip, but the little boy just ran away, and had a look that told the old former Hokage that his grandson no longer trusted him. Do you see things clearly now, old man? My venom spreads. Your time has passed. Now is the coming dawn of my rule, said Naruto, before pulling out the old man's soul into his body, and was flooded with information the once proclaimed god of shinobi possessed. The man's memories, knowledge, skills, and every jutsu the man knew in his arsenal was now under Naruto's direct command. Letting out an amused chuckle, Naruto left the room while the sound of the old Kage's life signs went from a steady beeping to the deafening sound of flatlining that indicated when someone's life had ended. It wouldn't matter if Tsunade, a doctor or nurse, tried to revive the old man now. Once the soul was removed from the body, there was no life to save, and Naruto could honestly care less. The future emperor and ruler of Earthrealm had what he wanted from this action. Now to show those slowly siding with him where the bodies and skeletons in the closets of his enemies were buried. Rain Village. Akatsuki HQ. Do you know why I am here? Questioned the figure in front of the man many in Rain Village would call Pain their god in the village. No? Tell me, said Pain, while Konan stood beside him in preparation to defend him against his uninvited guest. The threat of Earthrealm being conquered by Uzumaki Naruto is upon us. You along with a handful of people are capable of fighting against him and winning, said Raiden after appearing from the shadows, to look at the man, who used his puppets to bring out Pain, and the physically drained red-haired man looking at him while Konan stiffened at this news. Uzumaki Naruto. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki. A threat? Questioned Pain in disbelief. Yes. Naruto is a threat. The blood of Emperor Shao Kahn of Outworld runs through his veins. Just like it does you Uzumaki Nagato, said Raiden, with both Nagato and Konan going stiff from hearing the elder god call Pain by his true name. And you wish me to kill my own kin? Said Nagato seeing Raiden nod. Yes. Naruto will destroy the world, as stated in the prophecy that is long foretold of his coming, and you must stop him. Do this and I will ask my fellow elder gods to allow Yahiko to return to the land of the living, said Raiden, seeing Nagato and Konan looking shocked by this. Why not do it yourself? Why ask us to this for you? Said Konan, seeing Raiden looking at her now. Because the rules put in place by the elder gods forbids me from doing anything, unless Naruto violates the rules himself. I cannot engage him until such a rule is broken, and when that happens, he may become too strong to stop. It nearly happened with Shao Kahn ages ago during the era of Mortal Kombat, and the Emperor himself brought Earthrealm to his knees. Naruto has followed the path of Shao Kahn the Conqueror, and intends to bring untold destruction until he rules over what is left, said Raiden seeing Nagato was considering his offer. All of my clan, said Nagato, after a moment of silence. What? Questioned Raiden. You heard me elder god. If I do this, if I kill Uzumaki Naruto, then I want all of the Uzumaki clan in Whirlpool brought back to the land of the living, and Yahiko, while Whirlpool country itself is brought back to her former glory, said Nagato, with Raiden narrowing his eyes at him. The price is steep, however, the alternative should Naruto succeed in his conquest far outweighs what you are asking, and I will grant it if you kill him, said Raiden before he vanished in a flash of lightning. Would you really do that? Kill one of the few remaining Uzumaki left in the world aside from yourself, said Konan seeing Nagato looking unsure of himself. I don't know. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. I can't and won't know until I'm faced with the choice in front of me in the future. Send for Itachi and Kasame. They were recently sent to retrieve the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. I want to know everything that has happened since their encounter with him. Everything. Nagato will his conscience wrestled with so many what-ifs regarding the choice to kill his distant cousin. Could he do it? Would he do it? Only time would tell. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification, and also check out the other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.